We saw the Fantastic Four.
But we also went to Weatherspoons at the Ice Wharf, and that was good.
She drank before the movie.
I did. It didn't make it better, though. I mean, I didn't drink heavily. I just drank some.
And there were 5 of us, but, you know, if we pretend that Neil doesn't exist, then there was 4 of us, although he could have been Doctor Doom.
I don't think Neil was Doctor Doom.
He's a crazy evil scientist.
Yeah, but he doesn't have, like, superpowers. He can just fix things.
Well, yeah, none of us have superpowers.
One time, the whole entire house, okay, most of the house shorted out, and we didn't know why, and we thought everything was broken, and then Neil figured out that one of the cats managed to pee in the stove socket. No, and he like, dried it out, and then everything was grand again. But Neil's more clever than Dr. Doom, so it was... I mean... Visually, it didn't look very good. Aesthetically, it was all over the place. I mean, the people were too young, and they didn't do a very good job, and... I mean, and it didn't help that, like... Is it Miles Teller? That's his name?
Kilometers Teller.
Whatever. I can only think of as Fault in Our Co-Stars, because that's what Honest Trailers called him in the Insurgent Honest Trailer video. And so... That's, like, all he is now. And it's, like, really hard to see him being like, I'm earnest and a good person. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're an asshole. You always play little wormy, venomous assholes.
He is really good at playing an asshole. And it's like, that guy should have been the Human Torch.
No, but he played the cancer kid in
Cancer Twilight.
In Cancer Twilight. If you have cancer, we're sorry. Please don't write the show. But
he should have played the Human Torch. Human Torch should have played Reed Richards. I mean, the Human Torch actor, August Richards.
He was alright.
Yeah, he was a good actor, but the thing is, he didn't play the Human Torch. The Human Torch is an asshole who bursts into flames.
Yeah, he was kind of like, I'm a young kid, and now I can go really fast because I'm on fire, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to go into combat. Dad, I don't understand what your big problem about this is. This is awesome.
Yeah, like, he has the this is awesome type thing. He loves his powers. He's really full of them, but he's also a complete and utter ass.
Yeah, he just didn't really seem like an ass. He just seemed like a kid.
It's like, he should have been Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I would be perfectly fine with that. And, you know, Kilometers Teller is really, really, really good at being an asshole. Billy Elliot was the Thing.
For like 5 seconds. Did he voice him afterwards?
Yeah, he did the mocap as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, like, in the beginning, like, it's 2007, in a classroom that looks like a movie in the 80s trying to do the 30s.
And you know why that is? I worked it out. The director based that on kids' movies, or, you know, movies like The Goonies or whatever, which were made in the 80s. So he was recreating sort of an 80s movie type feel. That's what he was going for. And then, of course, they were referencing guys from an earlier era, most likely the 50s. But the original sort of, you know, kids have Zany Adventures type film were in the 30s.
Yeah, like, that's what it felt like. Oh, I work at, my family owns the junkyard in our suburban town. I'm a rough kid from the streets in our suburban town.
Yeah.
It just rang really false, and how his teachers were all like, you're a little asshole, and, oh yeah, okay, you're gonna teleport something. And I'm like, wait a minute, have you not in this school district witnessed this kid, Reed, get, like, perfect grades? Like, he must have taken his SATs, because apparently it's, like, what, like 2017 by then or something like that? It's, like, modern day. So he must have taken his SATs if he goes right from the senior science fair to college. You know, so you must know this kid's a genius. He's probably been IQ tested. You know? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're smart. And I'm like, you would know that he is. I don't know. It just really kind of pissed me off. Especially if the kid kind of comes off in the beginning as a wee bit autistic. And if he's a wee bit autistic in 2007, they were testing for that. That would have been picked up.
Yeah, everyone in this movie came across that way, though.
Yeah.
The entire cast, because of the directing style, they just come across as a bunch of angry Vulcans.
Yeah. But, like, the thing is that, like, oh, I mean, the whole he was a misunderstood kid and even the teachers kind of came down on him would so be an 80s, a 50s, or a 30s kind of thing.
Yeah.
It does not fly
And it doesn't really, I'm not a massive Fantastic Four fan, so I could be wrong about this, but it doesn't really fit his established comic origin. I mean... And
I think, and we're going to look this up on IMDb, but I think his stepdad was played by, what's her face, your man from Tim and Eric, great show, good job. You know,
possibly.
He used to do Tom Visits the Mayor, that show.
Entirely possible.
I think that he is.
Like, in the comic, he didn't even meet Ben until university. In the comic, they were like in their late 30s.
I like that he's like, oh, you're that weird kid nobody likes. I'll take pity on you and we'll be friends. And they're like, we're friends now. And he's like, quickly drive to New York City in the middle of the night to come on an adventure and now get powers. And then resent me for the rest of the MCU. Oh, wait. The pretend MCU. The Fox MCU.
The Fox Cinematic
And
Universe.
and how the girl, Sue Storm, was like, I am the only girl in the Fox pretend MCU.
That's why I did not get to go on the mission.
Everyone has to fight over my magic. She has a magical vagina. Just like, oh, that's why Kilometers Teller. What is his real name?
Miles Teller.
That's why Miles Teller is in it. Because it's another movie where all penises magically point towards her vagina.
Ask me that question again.
What?
Ask me that question again.
What's his real name?
Whose name?
Miles Teller?
No.
Kilometers Teller?
Kellicam Teller.
Whatever. Hectare Teller. But yeah, so like, except for the other, her brother. And see, my sister-in-law, who was too tired to be in the vlog, pointed out something actually in the theater, turned to me and said, like, oh, so Franklin is your dad, right? Yeah. Oh, are you adopted? Yeah, I was. And she's like, what? So she couldn't be from a mixed marriage? And I was like, yeah, that's true. And so we were walking home, we were talking about that again. And I was like, well, maybe...
Well, if she was from a mixed marriage, and what would stop people from going, oh, she couldn't be adopted? We can't have adopted superheroes?
I don't know. But, like, I mean, because, like, when, you know, someone who's white and someone who's black, or someone who's black and someone who's Asian, whatever, like, genetically combine, like, you can get two kids that look totally different. So it's possible that, like, both she and Human Torch are biological siblings, or they're products of different wives.
Most people are too stupid to realize that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. So we're talking about this as we're walking up the hill, and I was like, maybe that's why he has a complex. Dad likes you better because you're white. And my roommate turned around and he's like, what did you say? And I'm like, nothing. Never mind. So, yeah, but you know the deal. You saw Film Brain's review, probably seen Brad's review. So just
see, everyone else is going to see this.
It's the meh around the world, really. I mean,
most people are going to see this because
and X-Men Origins Wolverine was so much better than this. Yeah, with claws, just kicking ass and punching people, and like live forever superhero, you know, power revenge fantasy. I'm gonna have claws one day, and I'm gonna punch everybody who is mean to me.
Just like Origins Wolverine is like Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, it's not. It's
in
awesome.
the awfulness. This is a different kind of bad.
I don't care. I think that was better than this. I was highly entertained. And this I was just kind of like noticing background details. Like, oh, there was one cool part when they're like all in the lab and like Human Torch is like, oh, Sue, I'm glad you're here. And they think and stuff. And stop it! No, I'm making an important point. And he has a Lego mug, and it's from ThinkGeek. Because I have considered buying such a mug from ThinkGeek. Just saying.
Now, most people went to see this because A, it was a superhero film, or B, because they heard it was bad.
Yeah.
I decided I wasn't going to go see it. Wasn't interested in seeing it.
You got showed.
But then I found out that Philip Glass did at least part of the score.
Like, he's your saint. You like
I was
Neil
like,
and
Philip fucking Glass! You know, the fucking Cotsy movies. And, you know, soundtrack to...
Fantastic Four.
Soundtrack to Candyman. The opera Akhenaten, Einstein and the Beast. Was like, I have to see this. And it's like, oh God, there is no Philip Glassness in this at all.
Honey, the world begins to disappear. The worst things come from inside here.
There was no Philip Glassness.
And all the Kingsmen reappear for an Eggman. It's Counting Crows, Einstein on the beach for an Eggman.
There is
this is like one of the best Counting Crows songs ever. If you think it was a good song, write the show.
There is no Philip Glassness here.
Oh. The CGI wasn't really as good as what we've come to expect. I mean, but then I'm like...
Probably because I had to redo half of it.
I'm thinking, like, maybe I only noticed that, though, because I've heard other people say that, so, I don't know. I mean, think about it what you will, but...
Tonally, this does not fit the Fantastic Four. X-Men, doing the body horror type thing with, you know, new and unexpected powers would be fine in an X-Men movie.
Yeah, and it's just like it was all over the place. Like, it really had no, like, all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, hold on a second, wait, you guys, what? It's the climax, quickly! And, like, Dr. Doom's like, there's no Victor, only Doom. I'm going to blow up the world. You know what it reminded me of?
There is no Dana, only Zor.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that, what's her face? Diane something or other, or that cartoonist with who has the Straw Feminists cartoon, and the woman like takes her young daughter to get her first bra, and she's like, oh no, feminists in the underwear section. You don't want a training bra. You want to come with us to the moon, where we will blow up the earth. The Straw Feminist cartoon. Google it.
Why is it so hard to do Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom.
He didn't even have an Eastern European accent. Like, they could have got the guy who was, what's his face? Your man Quicksilver in X-Men. Not X-Men, in Avengers.
The English guy.
Well, he had a pretty good, convincing accent. They could have hired that guy. Or they could have hired someone for some Eastern Europe. I
The
know.
English guy who's married to the director of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, my. But no, like, I'm very sure there's an Eastern European actor out there who can play the character.
No, there's several people who can play.
I am from Latveria, that's why I have an American accent.
And he's played by an English guy.
Played by an English guy, and he's wearing Google Glass the
I
first
think
time
he's played by an English guy. See, Doctor Doom. Okay, Eastern European. Every single fucking film he's portrayed, he's supposed to be Eastern European, but he's always played with an American accent. He always gets fucking turned
Because
into
unlike
a
other
metal
Robin Hoods,
thing.
I can speak with a British accent.
He gets turned into a metal thing. And this one, he looks like Christopher Eccleston's version of Destro. Fucked a pool of Predator blood.
Yeah, they're like, oh, look, it seems that your environmental suit has fused into your skin. He was only in the movie for, like, as Doctor Doom for, like, he was only a supervillain, you guys, for, like, 2 hours. 3 at the most. Not even that, maybe.
The environmental suit that fused with him, it wasn't even metal to begin with.
No, parts of it might have been metal.
Well, possibly a little bit, but it's like, it was bright, it was whitened fabric, and then suddenly, metal! And then when
he had a cloak that he, like,
he's been
made the planet weave him from a flaxen.
Yeah.
And yea, verily, he wrapped it around himself.
The entire planet was basically primordial Earth with, Predator blood going through it, and then suddenly he's got a big fucking cloak. Where the fuck did
The planet wove it for him to nurture him and swaddle him in it.
He's not that hard to do. He's Eastern European Tony Stark, who's not funny, who
No,
so he's more like comic Tony
he's
Stark.
only funny if you're Eastern European. Like he'll be like, oh, and like make some kind of like dry remark, but like Eastern European's like, oh, that's true. Oh, in America, Doctor Doom, fuck you.
And he's like really arrogant and stuff, but he's just a guy in armor who's been taught magic because he's so brilliant. If I remember correctly, he learned magic so well because he's such a good scientist, and he's like, magic exists. I will science the fuck out of this. And now he's a sorcerer.
They had a science montage, you guys, and it was pretty weak. Just saying. And the whole thing is stupid, and they're like, oh, like, okay, so there's this government guy. And I was like, he looks like a camel. Why does he look familiar to me? And what did you say?
Well, I said that Tim Blake Nelson resembles a redneck Jeffrey Combs.
No, what did you say to me in the theater?
Oh, brother, where art thou?
And I was like, oh, it's Delmar O'Donnell! And then, for the rest of the movie, all I could imagine was him saying, like, turning to, like, the Thing and being like, we was beat up by a Bible salesman and then kicked out the Woolworths. I don't know whether it was kicked out of all the Woolworths or just the one. Don't laugh. You was fixing to fornicate. And that's, like, all that I could think. But I like him, and I'm glad he got some screen time.
He has a really terrible... He has terrible taste in superhero movies. Okay, he's been in 2 that I know of. And, well, this one's definitely not getting a fucking sequel. And the other one hasn't to this day. Where he was Samuel Stearns in The Incredible Hulk, the second MCU film, where he became the leader.
The leader?
Incredible Hulk's arch nemesis,
Oh.
who's a guy who got he got gamma radiated blood into or something. He has because of gamma radiation, he has basically a massive brain.
He kissed a prostitute who had a gamma radiation cold sore, and then.
In the film version, some of Dr. Banner's blood got into a cut in his head, and it made his brain grow like Incredible Hulk style, but it's just increased his brain power.
Oh, he's the guy that you fight him, don't you, in Lego Marvel?
And Jeffrey Combs plays him, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Jeffrey Combs played him in the animated things, but in the film version, he's played by him in the Incredible Hulk film.
Whatever.
But he's only there, but he's like, I'm helping Banner out. Suddenly, I got blood in my head. Oh no, I'm turning into the leader. Never seen again.
Stupid. And there's this part where like Reed's on the run and he's in South America.
For no reason at all. There's literally no reason for the plot for him to do that.
Like, how did he get the money to get there? Did he, like, stretch his way across? Basically, he stretched Armstrong. Did he, like, stretch his way across the continent?
Yeah. You could, what do you call it? You could turn himself into a hang glider.
That's the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, I hate what the missions in Lego Marvel you have to play as Mr. Fantastic. I'm like, shut up, I hate you. Just, hold on, I'll turn into a big screwdriver. No, you won't. Wolverine would kill you.
It was nice to see Mr. Fantastic actually fighting in the traditional Reed Richards style.
It looks
in the
so
comics.
Stupid, though. It looks so retarded.
It's logical, though, with someone with his abilities. I'm only sad that I did not get to see him have a fight with the Thing. Because... Yeah,
it was like, oh, now they're gonna face off. And they had the classic, like, kind of pose. And then he was like, headbutt. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because Reed can hold his own against the Thing by basically turning himself into a big, as flat as he can, and wrapping himself around the Thing and holding him in one place to try and do into a sleeper hold.
It was just so bad. And then he's like, hold on, wapow. And he, like, punches someone from behind. I didn't like it, and it looked bad. And then, I mean, there were some moments of really unintended hilarity, like 6 times they were told, you need to work together. They were told, oh my gosh, you guys, we need to work together more than the fucking Avengers, and that pissed me off in Age of Ultron. Although the great part was, like, so the Thing runs up and punches Dr. Doom, and he gets punched into his own, like,
into his own blue sky warp-creating thing.
Created. And then I turned and said, looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again. Because that's exactly what it looked like. It just missed
the ending, what Dr. Doom was doing is basically a cross between the villainous thing...
I want to destroy the world because the script said I had to.
It's like a cross between the villainous thing in Avengers 1 and Avengers 2.
No, you know what it is? It's a Bishonen goal. It's Sephiroth. It's
a Final Fantasy character.
Yeah, it's Krellian from Xenogears. It's so much like, oh, I'm so angst of the world and things and stuff, so I must destroy it so I can be remade anew, and shut your nihilism up.
No, in the original comics, in the Ultimates, I think
you 1-hour-old supervillain.
And in the Ultimates, I think this is pretty much their origin, but in the original comics, no fucking way. The original comics, they were on a routine sort of doing a space sort of thing. They were in space, they were doing something fairly routine, maybe an experiment of some sort, and the shielding wasn't quite right on their shuttle, and basically they were hit with a special type of ray which did it, and it was just an accident.
And I didn't like that the guys were like, oh, let's get drunk, oh wait, no. Let's totally not let the people who are actually trained to do this kind of shit be the first ones to go in the dimension. We're awesome, so we should do it.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, sure, it'll be grand. And they, like, left out Sue, and I was like, well, wait a second, how's she going to get her powers? You know, misogyny on the internet?
And then, of course, she gets them anyway because someone finally realized, holy shit,
wait a minute.
Many powers.
Wait, we can't just leave. It was just stupid, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe... I mean, I don't know. It looked like it was made to appeal to a younger demographic because they're just whiny mouth kids. They're basically how I feel about Peter Parker whenever we have to play Marvel Lego and he's in the mission. He's like, yeah. I'm like, shut up, Peter.
No, the Tim Story ones, this is meant to be more adult than the Tim Story ones.
Well, I just don't like it because they're like, you know what it was like?
It's adult in tone,
you know what it reminded
younger
me?
in characters.
It reminded me of the girl from Pyramid.
Stupid one?
Yeah, she was like, oh, well, you know, even the government is saying that we should evacuate, but Daddy, I want to be an archaeologist.
Yeah. Every single one of the Fantastic Four...
And, like, Sue was actually the smart one. She's like, wait a second, someone's in the gate. Dad, get over here now, because the shit's going down.
Every single version of the Fantastic Four Origins has, to a certain extent, it's Reed's fault. To a certain extent. Never as much as this.
But this, and this is stupid. It's like, you're a scientist, you're supposed to be a professional. I mean, okay, Victor is supposed to be, the arrogant one that takes risks and stuff like that. I expect him to be like, no, you know what, guys? I am rich and I own my own country. Let's fucking do this shit. But, like, dude, you're 18. Maybe not even 18. And you're like, I'm a scientist.
He's literally just finished high school.
I'm a scientist, kind of. I don't even have a degree, but sure, it'll be grand. Let's go be astronauts, because, of course, and then they, like, start, like, rope rappelling down a cliff in Zero Earth, and I'm like, who taught you how to do that?
Yeah. They get the powers.
Like, Victor, maybe. Like, maybe he, goes to a gym that has, like, a really great, mountain climbing, part of it in the wall,
And the, they get their powers yours because they all get drunk and they're petulant and they decide just to go off and, you know, stick it to the old people. This is like the worst science fiction teen movie ever.
It is. It's like Insurgent. You know, but like that kind of thing, like, we're teens, so we're gonna rule the world. Shut up, adult, you know what you're talking about,
No, it's not quite like that. Those
all
ones,
penises point to my magical vagina.
Those ones are not quite...
Your mileage, maybe.
In those sorts of films, it's always there's the adults are wrong or have to be defeated, but there's always adults who are saying, you are special and you are good.
Right.
However, this is more like a John Hughesy type 80s film, where the teens are being assholes and all of the assholes, all of the adults are asshole authority figures.
Yeah, but then at the end, okay, so they defeat
like
Dr. Doom and they make a crater.
It's like a John Hughes in tone and parts. It's like a John Hughes serious superhero film, which is fucking bizarre.
And then at the end, the government's like, well, so, you're gonna be our bitches? I was waiting for someone to call somebody else a dog in the military. I was waiting for it. It's from Fullmetal Alchemist. But, then they're like...
Why are the military frightened of them?
Yeah, well, they have nukes. They could just nuke the Fantastic Four. But they're like... The guy's like, nuh-uh, you're gonna do what we say, and you're gonna give us a whole facility. And they're like, alright. And they're just so fucking smug about it. Like, there's a point where, like, Dr. Doom is, like, gonna kill him. He's like, you're so smug thinking that you know everything. And I'm like, he is. Strangle him, please. And then at the end, they get this whole facility. They're like, we should have a name. Ha ha, how about this? No, what about... Oh, fantastic. Wait, what did you say? We're fantastic. Shut up. Like, I hate that. It's never cool. It's a title drop. Never cool. It's stupid when James Bond does it, and that doesn't mean that you can do it.
It's really funny that,
Okay, maybe if it's Sean Connery being James Bond.
The very, very, very end, last couple of minutes, this is pretty much the same.
Because the world is never enough, Mr. Bond. Sorry.
And
I hate title drops.
The world is not enough was the name of his family crest in the movie, which is terrible.
But in all of I hate title drops. I just think it's like it's breaking the fourth wall. It's turning and winking to the audience. And I don't like that.
Fair enough.
Never like that.
To me, I judge on a case-by-case basis.
No, I must judge it all.
The last couple of minutes of this is the same as Age of Ultron.
It is. It really is.
We've got ourselves a government, facility, and it's the same fucking place.
It looks like it was filmed in the same place they filmed the other one.
They filmed it in the same beautiful green screen studio with the same wonderful backgrounds. And then at the end, they're even like... Okay, at the end of Avengers, it's like...
They're like, oh, that's where my science lab is going to be. That's where my science lab is going to be. And I'm like, this is about the thing. I'm like... This is a junkyard kid who, like, I'm guessing can't afford to go to college. What's he gonna do?
In the comics,
Call of Duty.
In the comics, Johnny Storm, at least the ones I'm familiar with, wasn't genius. It was Sue Reed.
Yeah, but he's a mechanic. I mean, he's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna build my Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, I'm just saying in the comics they've. If I remember correctly, originally it was...
Yeah, and then there's a line in the trailer that doesn't appear in the movie. He's like, I'm gonna need a fireproof lab and fireproof equipment. That line does not...
A lot of stuff,
does not appear in the
because the film, after about an hour, it apparently turns into reshoots, which Josh Trank was quite annoyed about.
Yeah, apparently, like, shit got real about this on the internet now. I know Film Brain, like, tweeted a big thing about it, but unfortunately, I was on my mobile, and I couldn't read the image, because the things were too small, but apparently he done lost his... I mean, Trask? John Trank?
Trank.
Yeah, John Trank did not Film Brain.
But the, okay, if I remember correctly, Reed was the smart one, Sue was an assistant type one, Johnny was basically her tag-along brother, and Ben was just Reed's friend who was a pilot. And that was the whole thing. Over the years, they've been making Sue smarter, now they've made Johnny smarter, but Ben's still like I'm Ben!
In Lego Marvel, she has... You can use her if you don't have Jean Grey or Professor X. Would you stop that?
This is my impersonation of how he played Ben. This is the entire film. He's like, hello, I'm Ben.
You sound like Mr. Gumby.
Hello.
Reed, my brain hurts! But stop making...
I'm an American.
Stop making...
Billy Elliot.
No, Americans don't look like that. No.
According to Billy Elliot, they do.
Well, anyway, so, I mean, what else can we bitch about? Oh, and there was a part where they bring back Dr. Doom, and someone shouts out in a very professional and scientific manner, his biochemistry is off the chart! That's like saying, oh my gosh, his neurology is in the double digits! That was just the stupidest thing. Who the fuck wrote this dialogue? Like, all the dialogue was bad.
Quick, let's do medical science on him.
Okay. And there's like in the beginning where like he sits down with Sue in the library. She's obviously on a MacBook, but I noticed something.
No,
They
no.
didn't do the pan around because you know, like when anyone is using a MacBook in a movie, they always have the shot, you know, where you're on the other side of them, so you can plainly see the lit up Apple logo. You did not. You did not see that. Oh, the cat decided to join us for the vlog.
See?
Don't let her get her white fur on my black trousers. They're my work trousers still.
Hello, Lucy.
It's International Cat Day actually. While she's
Ooh.
already purring. But yeah, it was just I was like, wow. So Apple didn't even want to be involved in this.
Oh, but the ending bits, you know, they're in the facility and stuff, and it's just like an end of Avengers. But then this one, they're like, we're gonna come up with an idea for the name of the team, and then they cut the shot before he says Fantastic Four, just like an Ultron. Whenever they cut off before Captain America says assemble.
And then it like cuts to the thing that says Fantastic Four. And we're like, that was so stupid. There's not even a stinger. I mean, it's just so meh. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I was a comic fan, if I was a comic geek, I would be totally pissed off right now. But I'm not. I'm just, I mean, we got to, you know, have dinner at the Ice Wharf. And they have these really good pulled pork quesadillas as an appetizer. So we always get this. They've got these 3 appetizers for $10, so we always get that because we went with my brother and sister-in-law. And I mean, I got a Mexican chicken burger, but I didn't eat the bun. But I did get a beer, a light beer, and I got some tequila. So
I would like to.
Maybe that wasn't your personal experience seeing Fantastic Four, but you should eat that meal before.
I would just like to make the prediction that the next time we see the Fantastic Four in the cinema, it will be in a MCU. Possibly not the same one we're doing now. Maybe they'll have rebooted it or not. But we're not going to see another Fantastic Four film exclusively done by Fox. This is going to be another Spider-Man situation. They're going to sell it. They're going to sit on it for years. The rights might go back to Marvel. I suppose they might sit on it for.
Yeah, and Mr. Fantastic, or is that his name? What is his actual name? His superhero name?
Mr. Fantastic.
Okay. Like, in Lego Marvel, he's graying at the temples.
Yeah, and ever since issue 1, he's been graying. That's why I was saying the Fantastic Four in the comics are traditionally in their
and I was very disappointed because
40s and 30s.
Not one Spog was collected. They're never going to be able to buy new guys to help with their missions.
Yeah, these guys are about 20 years younger than the characters in the main comic. That's what I was saying. That
annoying, obnoxious children, although played by people in their 20s.
My feeling is that if they do it, you know, MCU one, I want it to end up in doing the fucking 60s. That makes sense. It's ridiculous. It's pop art.
2007.
It's big. You know, you're showing various history parts of the MCU, like you saw some 80s stuff in Ant-Man. Show us some 60s with Fantastic Four being big celebrities who vanished at some point.
Ant-Man was better than this.
Ant-Man was much better. Ant-Man's fucking great. But show it, you know, let them do adventure stuff, give them a movie set in the 60s, and then they vanish for some reason, and then they end up in the modern day, right in time to fight Galactus, and then, I don't know, make Doctor Doom be played by Hugh Keays-Byrne, because he was also Morton Joe.
I want to see, that'd be cool. I want to see Mr. Fantastic, like, played by an older actor, and not Fault in Our Co-Stars.
He was played by Hornblower in the 2005 and 8 one.
Horatio Hornblower?
The guy who plays Hornblower, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
The guy from San Andreas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and Captain America from the MCU played the Human Torch.
Before.
He played the Human Torch properly because he was an ass.
Yeah, well, maybe he can only play douchebags. I mean, apparently he's like Chris. Apparently Chris Evans is like a real sweetie in real life, but like
Captain America is very different in his douchishness than he was in Fantastic Four. In Fantastic Four, he was like just running around constantly insulting the Thing, being a sexist asshole and stuff. Well, in Captain America, he's like, don't swear. True believers, haha, I have a shield.
Guess what? America's awesome.
Imagine Captain America trying to play Tony Stark, and that's what you got with Fantastic Four original.
Yeah, but I want to see Mr. Fantastic be old and have, like, a science off with Tony Stark. Like, you know how, like, they occasionally have to work together in Lego Marvel? And yes, that's, like, basically my experience is collecting Spogs in Lego Marvel.
Yeah, in the film, and every so often I would lean over and give some information, you know, pertinent to the comics.
By the way, things and stuff. And, and they can have, and Bruce Banner can, like, do some science. They can have, like, instead of, like, you know how girls would get together and, like, have, like, a baking day, they can get together and have a science day.
Yeah. I was thinking, if you're going to do another Fantastic Four film,
You got cat hairs on me.
do another Fantastic Four film, what do you call him? Aidan Gillen? Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. The guy from the Scorch Trials thing.
Oh.
He should play Mr. Fantastic.
I guess. Oh, we got a trailer for the Scorch Trials because, of course, we did.
Yeah. But, out of...
And, what was the other one?
I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. But
I
out
was
of...
paying attention.
I was leaning over every so often explaining stuff, and I was just like, Mr. Fantastic's basically the smartest guy in the Marvel Universe. I was like, oh, okay, I don't care.
I didn't say that.
But you inferred it.
I didn't infer it. I was eating popcorn. No, I was thinking about other things. If the movie doesn't hold my interest, my mind wanders, and I notice props and other stuff, and... I mean, you can tell that nobody was engaged because, like, when Franklin dies, no one cared. It was like, he's like, remember, you need to work together.
Remember that I'm a very cheap substitute for Morgan Freeman.
Sue. What's the other kid's name?
Johnny.
Johnny. I am your father. Your kingdom is all that the facility touches.
And the suits are really, really
what's
bad.
What's that shadowy place over there?
That is the MCU. You must never go there, for you are owned by Fox.
The suits are really bad. The suits are really, really bad because, okay, in the Tim Story ones and the Corman ones,
yeah,
they
like
look
what's his
ridiculous
face?
and brilliant.
Mr. Fantastic. He's like got like this kind of like steampunk '90s hot topic thing going on when they pull him out the jungle.
Yeah, which he designed himself, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, they show him like he's looking at a schematic, but they never show you what it does or how what.
It was probably cut out of the second hour, which was probably cut out to pieces. But he's got like springs on the outside of it. They all just look really fucking terrible. Why not do what the original Fantastic Four did? Whenever the Fantastic Four were created, they weren't created as a superhero team. Basically,
but you have to work together. Sorry.
See, whenever the Fantastic Four were created, the big superhero boom of the 60s hadn't happened yet. So what Stan Lee did, he created a monster comic. He had done comics and stuff where people got powers of some sort in horrible things. And the first appearance of Ant-Man was several years before Ant-Man was created. The character, Hank Pym, he discovered this particle that made him small, and it was a horror comic about a guy stuck at the size of an ant trying to survive. That was his first appearance.
My name is Pym.
And in
Pym the Enchanter.
And in the Fantastic Four, these people, they got the powers, and they fought a giant monster. And they didn't have uniforms even until issue 4 or 5.
Wool.
So it's like, why do they
Not
need
even spandex?
Why do they need suits? Make them wear regular clothes. You know, obviously, whenever Torch uses his powers, he'll burn them off, and it'll be like, oh, ha ha ha. We'll have to try and find a thing that will not burn off.
My penis.
You know, it's
just like Dr. Manhattan.
What's wrong with that idea?
But
you don't need Dr. Doom in it because
don't go see it. I mean, you probably will just to say you did, but it's
Dr. Doom's backstory is complicated. You don't need to shove it into the Fantastic Four's backstory in this way. It's ridiculous.
But now he can't even.
Stop it.
Now he can't even be a bad guy if there ever was any sequels because he was a villain for an hour and then he got killed.
Well, we don't know. He could have been sent into another dimension called the MCU.
That's true.
Theoretically, this Dr. Doom could appear. I don't want him to, but he could.
I mean, the only good thing that came out of seeing this movie is that my brother and sister-in-law wanted to go see Mission Impossible, so we took a bit of money out of Scientology's coffers. So look at that way, but
there wasn't even a Stan Lee cameo, but he was probably in one of the many bits that was cut out.
Oh, Excelsior!
I will be curious whenever in about 10 years Fox is like, you know, we're over the fact that Josh Trank pissed us off. Let's put his version out in DVD just to get extra cash. I will be interested to see it.
I like the director's cut.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it's just one of the things to be outraged about right now, like Donald Trump and... What else are we outraged about right now?
I don't know, but we're almost out of time.
We are. So, I mean, you know, like, go see it if you want to. We didn't say spoilers, not spoilers, but you've already heard. It's just not worth it. I mean, wait for the DVD, but...
And they already planned a sequel and a crossover with the X-Men, which is totally not happening.
I mean, but, like, have a really good meal. Like, I've been saving up the calories all week to go to the Ice World.
Unless this movie makes a $500 million in China, it's it's a complete flop. Amazing Spider-Man, they sold the rights back to, they gave the rights back to Marvel, but they had their deal, and it made a decent profit. It's just the reason they did it was because they realized that every single Spider-Man movie makes less money than the last.
Because, like we told you in the Age of Ultron, and every single MCU review that we've done, Marvel has a license to print money now, and the studios just need to understand.
It's
that.
wonderful. Every single time we go into their film, we're like, one of the MCU ones, like, will this be the one that completely actually properly fucks up? Because the closest thing they've come to a bad film is Iron Man 2, and it's not terrible.
Yeah, it was alright. Thor 2 was alright. I mean, Iron Man 3 was... Okay, I had personal reasons for not liking Iron Man 3, and that's because I was trying to communicate desperately over email with Canada from my cell phone during the pivotal scene at like 11:30 at night. But that's a tale for another day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I liked Avengers, Age of Ultron. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy. That was good.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was alright.
Ant-Man was fucking great.
It was alright.
I can't wait for Civil War.
I can't wait to see Tony Stark punch Captain America in the fucking face.
I'm guessing... My guess is Captain America will either die or be in jail by the end of Civil War.
Good.
If he dies,
Goody two-shoes.
they will use the Soul Gem to bring him back to life in order to fight Thanos. They're introducing the afterlife to Marvel in Phase 3. They're definitely doing that.
What else? I want to see more collecting of Spogs.
Lego Marvel reference.
The little Spogs, you know.
There's a trailer for a Lego Marvel 2, which is based on the Avengers films. It's on YouTube.
No, you showed it to me. I need to get more Spogs.
But bye-bye!
Bye.
Sorry about the jump. I just noticed we've gone over the time limit, so at some point there was a bit where it went like that.
Just blame YouTube.